chat box. Is it fine? Okay. Thank you for the confirmation. So let us start this particular part. So today we'll talk about one of the emerging and latest technology, that is Internet of Things. The IoT. So first thing is Internet. Internet means network, and things means physical devices. Physical devices may be the industrial robot, industrial machines, sprinkler, paper, pen, or human body, anything like. So network of all physical devices in such way, each physical devices will able to share the information or the data to other physical device. That is called IoT. And different industries define the IoT in their own term. Like if you heard some term like IIoT, Industrial Internet of Things, Internet of Everything, the next generation of Internet, sensor for everything. So this kind of the different terms used for to define the IoT, and today we'll talk about this all over the part. Now, mainly the IoT is divided into the three different sectors. One is IoT development, second is IoT security, and third is IoT analytics part. Through the IoT development, we try to create a network between all physical devices so that they will be able to communicate and able to share the information or the data. In the IoT security, we generally talk about that we increase the security level so that different devices will able to securely communicate with each other, or can securely share the information or the data to one physical devices to other physical device. And IoT analytics, that is a very important. Through the IoT development, we are getting a lot of the data from different physical devices, but how to use those data? That is a very big challenge. And this thing we do using the IoT analytics part. So agenda of the particular today is discuss about the IoT development, security and analytics. And then we'll implement this particular part using the one of the famous protocol, that is MQTT protocol. And then we'll talk about this different applications and case studies. Now the IoT is very famous now. Every big company, either like manufacturing, either the logistic, any kind of the software development company is talking about that, because it doesn't matter what is your physical device. It doesn't matter what is your field. We can implement anywhere with any kind of the device. Like if maybe the physical device, maybe the human body, it's maybe like any water bottle or the water, it's maybe an industrial robot or industrial machine. It can be anything. It doesn't matter. So that's why nowadays every big company is talking about this particular technology, and that's why it's very famous nowadays. And IoT is not any particular fixed technology. Like here we'll talk about the embedded systems, networking, database, security, analytics part. So it's a combination of the different technology. Even we can be interface different technology like artificial intelligence plus IoT, and blockchain with the IoT, then machine learning with the IoT. So different things, augmented reality with the IoT, different things that can be interfaced. So please give me the 1 second. Let me just here. Back again. So sorry for that. Am I properly audible? Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So as we discussed, internet means network, and this particular network may be like Bluetooth, NFC, near field communication, one of the famous LPWAN wireless networking technology like LoRaWAN, or internet, or the Wi-Fi, Zigbee, anything. It's not something compulsory like if you want to implement the IoT, we require a particular internet. We require only the network, and that network may be the NFC, near field communication, that is widely used for to design the smart wearable devices like watch, smart business car, and like that. And Bluetooth also, Zigbee also, LoRaWAN also, Sigfox also, narrowband IoT, and the Wi-Fi. It could be anything. It totally depend on the application. So it's not compulsory like if you want to implement the IoT, we require a big kind of the internet something. Okay, it means that we require only the network. Actually, what happened nowadays is everyone interested to use the smart and intelligent devices, physical devices. But nowadays, whatever the industrial robot or industrial machines or any fridge, TV, any kind of the like sprinkler, the physical devices that we are using, that is not a smart and not intelligence. Means that nowadays, whatever the physical devices that we are using is not able to communicate with other physical devices also, or it's not able to communicate with the human also. Let me give the example. What is the benefit of it? Like, will not able to communicate with the agricultural land, will not able to communicate with plant. Plant not have a technique which can pass the information or data to human or other physical devices. So we don't say like this is the smart. This is not a smart devices because it's not able to communicate. Communication means if I am able to communicate, will able to communicate and discuss means I am able to share my information, and you'll able to share your information or your data. Will not able to communicate with the physical devices. This will not able to share the information or the data to the physical devices, and physical devices not able to share the information or the data to other physical devices. But through the IoT, we try to pick such kind of the techniques so that physical devices will able to communicate with other physical devices. Let's talk about this particular part. Like generally we say that mobile phone is a smartphone, ATM machine, smart machine. Why? Because these things are always connected to the network and able to communicate. Like generally what happened into the agriculture sector, the farmer based on their experience, they provide the fertilizer, they give the water. I mean, generally we think that the plants need only the water, fertilizer and sunrise, but plant needs more than that. But we're not able to communicate, and the plant will not able to communicate with us, so we never come to know about that. Same things, there are the too many same things in the agriculture sector we can be also implement into the manufacturing industry. And to implementation of the manufacturing industries, or to use the IoT into the manufacturing industry, this is the known as IIoT, Industrial Internet of Things. In there what happened, like let me give you one example of it, Industrial Internet of Things. Because nowadays every industry, especially like manufacturing industry, implementing this particular part. What happened? Like suppose that if there is any industrial machine or any industrial robot, we know that if there is any machine, so there is some kind of the problem or the failure is occurred. Like due to the many more, behind it there is a loss of the reasons. Like maybe like they behind is high temperature, high pressure, vibration. It may be more than that, more than 2, more than 5, more than 50, right? If there is any machine, sometimes the failure is occurred, and due to that, a particular engineer needs to stop all over the production system. Then what happens? There's a loss, huge amount of the loss of the particular company because they need to stop all over the production due to some failure. What we can do? We know that behind this particular failure there is some specific reason. Like it may be the high pressure, it may be the high temperature, it may be the high vibration, maybe like 20 to 50 factor behind it. If we collect this all our data from the physical devices, and then once we have a data using the artificial intelligence, we can be predict that when there will be any failure will be occurred. Like that's called maintenance prediction. And even can you assume that nowadays India is also using the IoT into the cricket, into the defense sport, into the home, into the smart city, into the manufacturing industry. Let me show you some couple of the video, and then we'll discuss more about this particular part. Okay. So here you can see
Globally, franchise cricket is taking a huge leap. Have a new fan following, and cricket has certainly embraced a lot of technology over the last few years. My early memories playing cricket was on the streets of Bangalore. For me, it was all about commitment, about discipline. We've always heard experts talk about batting, saying he's hitting it from the sweet spot. He's a powerful hitter. But what does that mean in real data? There's hardly any sport that can give you live data coming out of the equipment of the player. This is a Spectracom power bank. Behind the sticker is a small sensor sticker, the size of a credit card, less than 5 grams in weight. It captures data and transfers in real time using Microsoft's artificial intelligence, machine learning. You get the speed of the bat in kilometers per hour. Also, the quality, how close was it to the sweet spot of the bat. Also, how much of a twist was there in the all this then generates the power. We have brought up a new unit of power called specs. For self-improvement, it's a great tool. You don't need anybody looking over your shoulder. You can actually improve on your own with the data that comes out. The form factor was critical. I felt the need for something that can be non-intrusive and easy to the player. You can attach it to a charging can happen only wireless charger. You use an app which you can download and then it starts talking to the bag. And the sticker itself will store enough data for you to download that data onto your computer. Spectracom's mission is to create an ecosystem where you engage the fan, the professional athletes, the amateur, and we are starting off with cricket, and it will also be available for other sports. It could be baseball, it could be tennis, even hockey, or for that matter, golf. What we have been able to achieve in the last 8 months, it's thanks to Microsoft. It's not easy to get the data in real time and then pass it on to the broadcaster. And that's where Microsoft AI Services has helped us. It's wonderful to have the top global technology company to be a part of that, and we're hoping to ride on that platform and then reach out to millions of people across the world.
So you can see like how we are using the IoT into the different sector, into the sports, into the industries also. In the Andhra Pradesh, into the some south, there are the different industries. They are using the IoT into the manufacturing industry also for the smart factory. So, which the resultant of it increase the productivity and the performance, and also increase the particular the safety levels into the manufacturing industries. So nowadays in the manufacturing industry, healthcare sector, smart wearable devices, everywhere like using this particular IoT. Okay, so let's understand this all of the terms, and then after we'll discuss more about this particular part. Okay, if we talk about like future of the IoT, like according to the NASCOM, different organizations, still 2020, 40 to 80 billion devices will be connected to the network. Nowadays, every person is using at least have person have at least 2 or 3 devices. Like I have my mobile phone and a laptop, which is always connected to the network. But sometimes I also will have at least 10 devices. Every person will be use at least 10 devices into their daily life, which will be always connected to the network, and it will be able to share the information or the data, like a smart business card, smart sticks, smart goggles, or you can say smart purse, smart clothing. So because nowadays everyone want to look smart, so that's why the people is using the smart wearable devices. So nowadays the smart wearable devices that we can be designed using the NFC also as a wireless near field communication, and many more the different microcontroller sensors we require that will be discussed. So in the simple term, like we can define the IoT in this particular way. The Internet of Things, also called the Internet of Objects, means network of objects refers to a wireless network between the objects. Means where there is a wireless network between the different objects, different physical devices. Each physical device will able to share the information or the data to other physical devices. Means each physical devices will able to communicate with other physical device also. And other and we can also say is a new form of the communication between people and things, and between things and themselves. Now, generally we have some terms like smart city, smart home, smart world. But what do you mean by this smart city and smart world and smart home? It means whatever the physical devices that we are using into the smart home, like into the home, that is able to communicate. They are always interconnected and able to communicate, able to share the information data to other physical devices. Same thing in the smart city also. Like we have CCTV camera, we have street lights, we have like road speed meters, smart buildings. They able to share the information or the data. Let me give the one real-time example of it. In the Gujarat, the Surat SMC, they are using the IoT for the smart street light. What they are actually doing that, they are using the LoRaWAN wireless networking technology, and using the LoRaWAN wireless networking technology, they connected to the all over the street lights. Okay, and what happened nowadays? If there is any street light is fused or is not working, the particular service provider company don't have like generally change or provide the service after the long times, because they don't have if the someone will be complain this particular part, then they come to know about this street light is not working and that is not a perfect. So what they did doing that, they're just connected all over the street light to the some network using the LoRaWAN wireless networking technology, which is LPWAN based low power wide area network. It can cover around up to 15 kilometer. And if there is any street light will be fused or it is not work, it will be sent on notifications to the admin or the service provider company. So what happened? The first thing is service provider company now have a data which street light is not working, and then they can be go and replace it or the check it, and higher authorities and also can monitor the work performance of the any that service provider company. So here in this way, this smart city, smart street light, smart parking, this all of the lots of applications into the Delhi NCR or into the Gujarat Surat or the different cities of the India. They are the implementing this particular part. In even also like manufacturing industry in Andhra Pradesh, like there are a couple of the manufacturing industry, they already implemented this particular part. And lots of the manufacturing industry in the India, they implement it into the one or two machines, and they try to uh, train their employees, and slowly they are implementing to the all over whole industries. So in this way, like India is moving this all over the sectors. Why? Because if you heard the term Industry 4.0, like fourth revolution of the manufacturing industry, till the third revolutions, India was not ready to adopt this all over the new technology. Like first revolution was to use steam-based engine into the manufacturing industry. Second revolution was to use electrical energy-based into machines into the manufacturing industry. Third revolution was to use the PLC, SCADA, or the basic automations into the manufacturing industry. Now fourth revolution is to adopt IoT, blockchains, artificial intelligence added to manufacturing, kind of the new emerging technology into the manufacturing industries, which can increase the productivity and the performance. So here the IoT plays a very big role, because through the IoT, all of the devices can be interconnected and able to communicate. Means we can convert our device into the smart device. That's why IoT plays a very big role. Through the IoT, we can collect the lots of data from the different physical devices. That's why IoT is very important in this, play very important role into the Industry 4.0 sector. So same thing, we'll do this some couple of examples. We'll discuss some couple of the case studies also. So let's process it. So what is the benefit of it? The first thing is we can implement anywhere, anytime, with any kind of device. It does not what is a physical device? It could be your human body. It could be like any sprinkler, any garden, any fridge, TV, or car, or any kind of the machines, or any kind of the robots, anything like that. It doesn't matter what is your physical device. That's why every sector, either like healthcare sector, logistics sector, or a manufacturing area, smart city, they are the moving in this particular field, and they're adopting this particular technology. Because once we have a data, then we can do anything. Through the IoT, what we are doing, we are also collecting a data from different physical devices. That's why some couple of the company also define the IoT in the term of the next generation of internet, or the sensor for everything, internet of everything. This kind of the different terms that are used by the different industries to define the IoT. And like we are collecting a lot of the data from different physical devices. Like if I implement the IoT into the agriculture sector, then I have a data of the plant, I have a data of the particular agriculture land. The data that means information. Okay, their needs, what are the needs of the particular you can say the particular agriculture land. So that's this kind of the data that we are talking about. And we know that information is a great way to reduce the waste and increase the efficiency. And that's really the what IoT provides. We are collecting a lot of the data. And then once we have a data, then we can implement the artificial intelligence, and we can be use of that. We can be use those data into the right way. That is known as IoT Analytics. That will be discussed. Okay, the in the mix of IoT and AI part. Because IoT is not related to any particular branch. IoT is not a fixed technology. Here IoT, we can be implement IoT plus blockchain, IoT plus augmented reality, IoT plus artificial intelligence, and different technologies. And this is not a product of any company. There is no any standard certification, like this is not product of and developed by some standard kind of the companies. No, this is the mix of the different technologies: networking, database, embedded system, security, analytics, all over the part. The big question is how to implement this particular part, and how does this all, because we are the talking about that one physical device will be able to communicate with other physical device, will able to communicate with the agricultural land, or plant will able to communicate with the agricultural land. But how it is possible? How we can implement this particular part into the real time? So the first thing, let's compare with the human. Human is have a natural sensor, so that human can collect the data and can be communicate, right? But our physical device like a fan, our physical device like agricultural land don't have a natural sensor. So we require some different electronic sensor to collect the data from the physical devices. The first is sensor, right? Then we require a actuator. Actuator means sometimes what happens, we want to perform some action. Let me give the one example of it. Let's talk about like smart kitchen. What happens normal kitchen? Suppose that in there is any gas leakage into the particular in kitchen. So what happens if the all over the kitchen is locked, or all over the room is locked, packed? So it may be there may be any fire or any accidents, maybe chance of any accidents. Okay, but suppose if our kitchen is interconnected, all of the physical device is interconnected and able to communicate. So what will be happen? So whenever the gas will be the leakage from the cylinder, the particular different physical device will able to collect those data. Then what happens? It will be send a data to the window. Window will be automatic turn on, open. Okay, it will be send a data to the fuse. Then fuse will be turn off. It will be send a data to the fire brigade, or it will be send a data to telephones, or you can say it will be send an notification to the owner of the house. And whenever the gas will be gas percentage will be down, automatic window will be off. So what happened? And the switch will be turned on. So what happened? The problem is automatic solved. Why? Because our devices is interconnected, automate. They're able to communicate. They're able to take a decision. So in this way that we can be using the some microcontroller, using the some sensor, using the some actuator, using some wireless networking technology, using some protocol, using some cloud platform, we can be implement this particular part. And in this basis, now we'll talk about this particular part like IoT development. So as we discussed, the IoT is mainly into three different areas. One is IoT development, one is IoT security, and last one is IoT analytics. in the IoT development, we require some microcontroller. We require some sensor. Like suppose that if you have one physical device like an electrical bulb. Okay. Now what I want to measure the data. This particular electrical bulb is working or not, or the fuse or not. So whatever the data that we want, based on that, we require that kind of the sensor. Right? We require that kind of the sensor. Then suppose that sometimes I want to perform the action, or I want, if in any case I want to turn off the light. So for that I require some actuator to perform some action like servo motor, DC motor, relay module, stepper motor, kind of the actuator. Some wireless networking technology, because suppose that I have a 10 different physical devices to interconnect the connect the different physical devices with each other. I require a different wireless networking technology. But again, we have a different wireless networking technology. Like we have NFC, we have Bluetooth, we have a Zigbee, we have a narrowband IoT, we have a Sigfox, we have wireless, we have a cellular network, we have a Jetway. We have a lot of wireless networking technology. But how to choose a particular wireless networking technology for our application? This is also a very big challenge. Then talk about the protocol. That is very, very important. So the protocol is depend on the wireless networking technology. Suppose that if I'm using internet, I'm using the Wi-Fi or internet to connect my all our physical devices. So generally we use HTTP, MQTT, CoAP, XMPP kind of the different protocols. Or if I'm using the Zigbee, so I will be go with the standard of the Zigbee. If I'm using the Bluetooth, so I will be go BLE protocol, DLS standard. If I am using the LORA WAN wireless networking technology, so I will be go DLS standard. If I am using the IoT, if I'm using internet, so I'll be go with some protocols like HTTP, MQTT, CoAP, XMPP, AMQP, kind of the different protocols. So it depends on the wireless networking technology that we are using to create a wireless network between the different physical devices. Then again, we have a cloud platform. Cloud platform is why without cloud we can be implement this particular part. But suppose that I am using the Sigfox, I am using the LoRa WAN, I am using the some other Zigbee wireless networking technology. So whenever my physical device will be in the network, then only able to communicate. But suppose that if I am out of a station, so then I am not able, or out of the range, then I am not able to communicate. So for that we use the cloud, and we connect all our physical device to the cloud platform like Microsoft Azure, AWS IoT, IBM Watson platform, and from anywhere that we can be communicate, we can be share the information, we can be monitor it. Let me give you one basic example of it. In the past, we generally use a Bluetooth to share the information from one mobile to another mobile, right? But nowadays we are using the share it. What is the difference between the Bluetooth and the share it? Both wireless networking technology are different. Both data rate is different. Range is different. So we are doing the same task but using the different wireless networking technology, right? To share the information or share the data files from one mobile to another mobile. Before to some years we generally use the Bluetooth, but nowadays we are using the share it. So what is the difference between the both parts? Both wireless networking technology is different, both data rate is different, both range is different, right? So but for the same task we have a multiple option, but we want to find the best one, because both power consumption is also different, because we want to save the energy power and also. So we need to, this kind of a factor we need to keep in mind and choose a particular perfect wireless networking technology or the protocols for our application, and this is a very important part. Okay, and we also discussed like microcontroller to interface sensor, to interface the sensor wireless, to interface the actuator, to interface the wireless networking technology with our physical device. We require a particular microcontroller. Like we generally for the design different prototype, we use Arduino, Raspberry Pi, BeagleBound Black, Node MCU, different kind of the microcontroller. Okay, protocols is depend on the wireless networking technology. Cloud platform, generally AWS IoT, Microsoft Azure or IBM Watson, Adafruit, ThingWorks, ThingSpeak, UbiDot, different kind of the cloud platform is available, and that is the very famous. And during our training part, we generally use the AWS IoT, Azure IoT, adapt to different kind of the cloud platform. And what is the other benefit of it? Because we suppose that we are getting a lot of the data from different physical device, then we want to save the data also, because the data is very important for us. So if we use some cloud platform, then we can be save the data into the some particular place, and from anywhere we can be import the data, and then we can be used for different applications. Like if I use a Microsoft Azure or the AWS IoT platform, so you can connect, you can store all of the device data into the AWS IoT platform, and then you can be save the data for the data into the database. Then you can be send the data for the analytics purpose, for the different purpose you can be use those data. So there are some benefit of it. So whenever we are going to choose any particular cloud platform, there are some things, some important things we need to keep in mind. The first thing, suppose that if your physical device is communicated using the some particular protocol like HTTP, so that particular cloud platform support to the HTTP or not, you need to check it. Suppose that I am using the MQTT protocol for setting my physical device using the MQTT protocol to share the information or like data. Now I want to use the cloud platform. So first I need to check it which that particular cloud platform support to MQTT or not. Then only we can be choose. Or also we need to check this particular cloud platform how many different web services are available. Because AWS IoT, Azure IoT generally provide the lots of the web services generally require an IT companies. So that's why this is the very famous nowadays. Okay. So let me talk about the one of the protocol, then after we'll implement this particular part. Okay. As we discussed, like different industry define the IoT to the different way. Like IoT, sensor for everything, the next generation of internet starts with your thing. Okay. And as we discussed, like we require some microcomputer. Like one of the Raspberry Pi is very famous. Raspberry Pi is a product of the product of the UK and manufactured by the China. It's having the 4 USB port. You can see one Ethernet port, audio port, HDMI port, power ports. Number of the 40, it's having the 40 pins on the board. It supports the SPI, I2C, UART, wired communication protocols. It's having inbuilt Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth also. It's having the 1 GB RAM, ARM processor, Linux operating system that we can install the Linux and Windows also. The back side of it, there is a one memory card slot. So this is the complete credit card size of the computer, and nowadays it's the very famous to design the prototype into the IoT sector. Okay. So Arduino board, this is the Italy product, and it's also the very famous microcontroller because it's having the different kind of the analog, digital, and the PWM pins. It also supports the I2C, SPI, and UART communication bus. But here, all over the pins are the particular only digital input-output pins. There's a 26 GPIO pins, means general purpose input-output pins, so that we can be used. So whenever we are working with the normal devices, like a normal small kind of the product or the development part, we generally use this kind of the microcontroller. But if you want to implement into the manufacturing industries or any big industry, so generally we use a PLC, programmable logic controller, PLC, SCADA, HMI, and we work on their wired communication protocols and their application. We work on that particular part. Okay. In the industries like many, we work on the PLC and the SCADA part, and we can interconnect the different industrial robot or industrial machines, CNC machines, so that it can be work very accurately, or it can increase the productivity or and also increase the safety level. Like again, we have ESP8266 as a Wi-Fi module. We can be also use this particular part, and it's having the, you can see the golden color. This is the chip on the antenna on the chip, and we can also install the program inside of it, and then we can be use this particular part as a controller also. We have other boards like Intel Edition, Intel Galileo, Banana Pi, BeagleBone Black, Node MCU, Flutter, chip. So these are the top boards which is used for to design the any kind of the prototype or the projects or the model you can say. And these are the top company who manufacture this all over the kind of the boards, especially for the IoT. Now, if I talk about the actuators like we use for to perform the some action, like in manufacturing industries, we generally use the actuator like as a servo motor, steeper motor into the different industrial robot like KUKA, Fanuc, ABV kind of the industrial robot or any CNC machine or the any kind of the big machine. Mainly we use a servo motor, stepper motor, DC motor, linear actuators, relay module kind of the actuators. These are like servo motor, stepper motor, DC motor, relay modules. And if I talk about like sensor, the sensor is a very important role. It's something works as a, you can say, eye and ear for the any IoT device. Because IBM also defined the IoT in the term of the sensor for everything. Why? Because without sensor, it's not possible to implement the IoT. According to the IBM, IoT provides the use the sensor for everything in the world, because our physical devices don't have a natural sensor. They're not able to sense the environments or collect the data from different physical devices. So it's provide the ability to use the sensor. Like as we discussed into the industries, into the maintenance prediction, what happened that we want to predict that when the particular any maintenance will be required. We want to predict that after the 2 hours, after the 3 days, after the 1 month, after the some years, the maintenance will be required. So let me give a one particular example. Like if there is any bearing, if there is any fan, in the fan if there is a lubricant required, then we can be predict that there is a very less amount of the lubricant, so that maybe there may be any issue will be come in the future, or maybe the fan will be not work, or there may be some kind of the issue. Because we have experience, we are the intelligent person. Human is intelligence. We can be do the prediction. But again, we want suppose that if there's a more than 50 reason, more than 50 factor behind any kind of the failure. So it's become a very big challenge for us to do the right prediction. So in this case that we can be use the IoT and the artificial intelligence. Through the IoT we can be collect those all over the factor data, and using the IoT analytics or use mix of the machine learning part, we can be predict that when the particular maintenance will be required. Okay. So in this way that we can be use that. So again, to collect those data, suppose that if there's any industrial machine, there's just 50 factor or the 20 factor behind this particular failure, then first I want to collect those all over data. To collect those all over data, I require that kind of the sensor. So sensor is very important. Without sensor, we cannot proceed this particular part. And here, like we have a couple of the sensors like DST11, soil sensor, DST22, SCSR0 sensor to measure the distance, to measure the temperature and humidity, moisture the sensor like to measure the particular moisture level of the soils, and the pressure sensor, light sensor, motion sensor. It totally depends on the application, and based on that we can be use a particular sensor. Like depend on the which kind of the data that you want, and based on that we can be use the different kind of the sensor. But whenever we are going to for industrial application, our sensor should be very important and accurate, because if the sensor data will be not accurate, so will be go into the wrong way. Okay, so that is a very important part.
Sir, does every sensor require an application?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Hello. Hello.
Sir, I am saying that every sensor required an application.
No, actually, what happened is depend on the case. Like in the IoT, there's just some works in the software part also. If you're working with the some hard IoT development or the hardware part, so we require a sensor, and depend on the sensor which kind of the data that you want. You want a humidity. You want, like suppose if there's any machine, and we want to predict the failure behind it. So behind this failure, suppose there's a 10 region. I want to those data. So for to collect those data, then we require that kind of the sensor. It totally depends on the application. If you are working with the software part, then we don't require the like sensors and the hardware part. But again, if you are working with the hardware part into, because in the IoT we have a hardware also, and we have the software part also. We have a networking part also. We have a database part also. So it's totally depend on the particular area. Like same again, we have a different sensor. Like, is it fine?
Yes, sir. Fine, sir.
So we have a different sensor like MQT, MQTU, different standard gas sensor, image sensors, magnetic sensor, or we have accelerometer, gyroscope, different kind of sensor totally based on the application that we can be use the sensor. But again, it is a very important to choose the sensor into the right way, because that should be very accurate, very precise. Your value should be the very precise and accurate, and that's why then only we can be go into the right way, because through the sensor that we are collecting a data and we are processing all over the part. Now let's talk about the one of the important part is wireless networking technology. Okay. So whenever, because as we discussed, we have a different wireless networking technology, like we have a Wi-Fi, so we have a Zigbee, we have an NFC, we have a Bluetooth, we have a LoRaWAN, we have a Sigfox, we have a cellular network. So we have a different wireless networking technology. But how to choose this particular part? This is a very big challenge and issue nowadays. So whenever we are going to choose any wireless networking technology, there are the four things is very important. First thing is standard, frequency, range, and data rates. Okay, because first we check if that particular standard is available or not in this particular area, like bandwidth is available or not. The range, what about the range? We require this range, and this particular wireless networking technology have that kind of the range or not, coverage or not. Then again, the data rates is also the very important. Suppose that if I am implementing into the agriculture sector, where the data, the new kind of the data is not generating again and again within the very microseconds, or data is something second with data is keep changes within the 2 or 3 seconds. So if you go with the slow data, if you go with the some less data rates, then it will be also fine. But suppose that if you have some machine which generally generate a different kind of the data. Okay. So in that part, we require a data rate should be very high. So the data rate is very important. Then again, we have other different security also, power consumption also. We need to check this all over the part. Okay, so whenever we are going to choose any wireless networking technology, this is something of very important. So like Zigbee. So nowadays we have a Zigbee with up to 1 kilometer range. So 1 to 1.5 kilometer range. So we have a different Zigbee modules, Wi-Fi modules, Bluetooth also, and JAD, that is also important. NFC, near field communication. This is also again very important for design the smart wearable devices. We are using the NFC module. Cellular network, this is a very important, but again the issue with the cellular network is generally consume the very high power. So we require some wireless networking technology which can cover the wide area also, and which can work on the low power. So the most of industry we generally focus on LPWAN wireless networking technology. And LPWAN wireless networking technology, we have a like Sigfox, we have a LoRaWAN. So in India, the LoRaWAN network is very available, and to the Delhi NCR, the lots of the industries who is working on the LoRaWAN wireless networking technology and implementing into the smart city and smart villages, into the oil and gas industries, they are using this particular wireless networking technology. And this range is up to 15 kilometer data rate, standards, frequencies. Based on that, which we can be use this particular part. And again, this range is depend on the particular density. Like it's up to 15 kilometers, that maybe somewhere the 10 or 8 or 12 kilometers rural, and the particular depend on the particular density of that particular area. So generally, the LoRa work on the gateway kind of system. LoRa is the gateway kind of the system. There's a lot of the end node devices, and it's connected to the one particular gateway, and then on the particular gateway we can be monitor all over the data. And now if you want to push the data to the cloud, so we need to use some 3G 4G module, and we can push the data to the cloud platform. Like into the what happened nowadays, into the some manufacturing company, for the import and export, they're using the LoRaWAN wireless networking technology. Like to import or to export the particular oil and gas for one country to another country, or one place to another places, they generally use a lot of the pipeline, and that particular pipeline is moved to the villages, some rural places, and where the some village person or some kind of different person, they used to harm the pipe. So what they are doing, that some couple of the companies that are implementing to set up the LoRa WAN wireless networking technology. Why? Because it can cover the wide area
Hello,
and it's
sir.
work on the low power. Because if we freeze the
Hello.
loss of, yeah, hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. Can we use these things like Raspberry Pi and Arduino in live projects like smart parking, etc.?
Yeah, we can be use that. We can
How can
interface this
it be
particular part with.
implemented?
Sorry.
Yes, sir. How can it be implemented?
Yeah. First thing for the LoRa WAN, we require a particular two things. One, the LoRa and node points on the LoRa gateway. And LoRa and node points, like suppose that if you want to connect your mobile phone to the Wi-Fi or the particular network, then you also in your mobile phone there is a one Wi-Fi module. So that's why the endpoint we need to interface with the other like Arduino or the Raspberry Pi, and there is a one gateway. We can be connected to the gateway to the all over the endpoints. Okay, because these are the local networks which can cover the up to 15-kilometer range. This range is also very good, and on the gateway we can be after the through the you need to program that particular Raspberry Pi and the if you're using the Raspberry Pi or the Arduino also. So you can program it in the such way so that it will be share the all over the data to the gateway. And now the gateway, the data is on the gateway. Now you can using the 3G or 4G modules, you can push the data to the, you can send the data to the some cloud platform. Again, you need to check it which cloud is support to this particular particular part. So using the again like UB dot is support this particular part. You can be send all over the cloud the data to the some cloud platform, and that's all about it.
So like XAMPP and WAMP servers, is there any server present for Raspberry Pi?
Sorry.
So like XAMPP servers and WAMP servers, is
Uh-huh.
there any
Yes.
server present for Raspberry Pi?
No, no, no. Raspberry Pi is only like a computer. There's, we need to use that particular part as you want. Okay, you need to program it, something kind of the computer. Okay, so you need to install, you can install the OS and you can be used as a computer, and but it having the server pin, so we can be also used as a microcontroller to interface different sensor and actuator.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me discuss one of the important part that we are going to cover the last point, that is the MQTT protocol. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Yes. Yes.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Yes. Yes. I'm
Yes, sir.
audible.
Are you here?
I'm audible. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Please
yeah,
let
you
me know.
are audible. So, you told to us now that we can use it as a computer. So, what is the difference between the Raspberry Pi using for our implementation of a real world project and using the computer? Because I wanted to know this from beginning.
Okay. 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 The first thing is the Raspberry Pi is a development board. Okay. For because it's having the couple of the GPIO pins, means like our Arduino having the number of the pins also, input output pins. We can interface to the sensor, we can interface to the actuator, and we can be program, we can control it. So in the Raspberry Pi, there's a all over the part like interface, the different sensor and actuator, and we can be used that. Actually, the Raspberry Pi is aimed to not to develop into the IoT or some embedded system. It's aimed to design to split the computer knowledge between the school students. But again, it's having the number of the pins, so we can be used into the embedded system also. And again, like into the Arduino, what happened? There's a EEPROM, SRAM, and all part. Like it's having the specific RAM, particular memory card installed. So you can be what you can do. You can be install the OS into the some memory card, and then you can be memory card interface to the Raspberry Pi, and you can be used for the as a computer also, because this is a computer. In the Arduino, you can be run only the single program, but into the Raspberry Pi at the same time you can be run the multiple program, and it's having a couple of the pins also, so you can be lots of interface the sensor and actuator. And to work on the Raspberry Pi is very user friendly. You can easily use that, you can easily program that, and most of the companies to design the prototype they are using the Raspberry Pi, not for the product. For the product we don't use the Raspberry Pi or rather the Arduino also. Only for the design the prototype or the working model we use the Raspberry Pi. When we move on the product part, we work on the only chip part. Yeah, yeah. Hello.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. Thank you. So, one more question can I ask?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So, So I wanted to ask that as you told us ki it's user friendly. So normal person with normal knowledge of programming or something like where the students of colleges or school, they can also use or work it. No, so we shouldn't need that much higher knowledge about how to use it.
No, no,
So
no.
it is user
Yes, yes.
friendly.
Yeah, yeah, it's user friendly. Only the main thing is something cost. Like the normally the college students use the Arduino because its cost is around the 500 or 600 rupees. But again, the Raspberry Pi, the cost is around the 2500 rupees. And we also require some HDMI or the some some memory cards. So it's something the cost is some the matter. Otherwise, the school students is also using the Raspberry Pi. I'm not talking about the college. Even the school students are using the Raspberry Pi for develop the different projects or for the learning purpose also.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Can we? I am focusing on software development side. Without
Okay.
other hardware devices, whether we can develop a web app or some mobile apps without
Yeah,
the
we
help
can
of
do.
Raspberry or
Yes,
Android. Arduino.
yes, yes, we can do it because in the IoT, what happens? This is not related to one particular field. This not only embedded system. There's a networking also. There's a security also. There's a database also. There's an Android application also. So is in the particular company, if the person is IoT, there can be a different profile of the company that work into the any IoT projects because we require some person who can design the different application for any models. We require the person who can having the very sound knowledge into the security part, who having the very good knowledge into the database management. So these all of the things. Then you can also because there is a software part also and the hardware part also. We require some person which having the very sound knowledge into the cloud platform also. So if you have the AWS IoT or because the cloud platforms or Azure IoT cloud platforms knowledge, then you can also move in this particular phase.
Okay.
But again, you should have a basic idea about to end on all over the work, but not your work profile. Maybe the any cloud platform, but you should have a knowledge about it, but at least knowledge about this end to end part.
Okay. And then when we are considering API, it will be like we are accessing the cloud platform. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Hello.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hello.
Hello. Yes. Sir, can I ask a question?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yes, sir. Sir, we are using these IoT things, Raspberry Pis and Arduinos in our like small projects. But when we implement on a large project like smart city parking or smart car parking, like this type of things, how we can use
Mm-hmm.
this?
Yeah, again, like if you're working with the projects, then we can be if you're working with some prototype and the project, then we can be use a Raspberry Pi, this all of our part, and use of that we can implement it. Like if you're the working with the product, we don't use the Raspberry Pi and the Arduino kind of things. We work on the chip part. We only use the such thing which is required. Like suppose in the Raspberry Pi we have a multiple pins, we have a multiple ports and all, but into the product we don't require that part, so we can be remove it and we only require the chip. So we work on the chip into the when we move on the development part. If you're working with some prototype and the project, so again we can be use a Raspberry Pi with some wireless networking technology, either like Zigbee or the LoRa WAN, and use of that we can be easily implemented.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, sure. Hello.
Uh, so yes, sir. So basically, you want to say that this is used for the designing of the product and not for the production of the product.
Yeah, exactly. Before to production, we need to design the prototype also. Even the all over the manufacturing company like Harman, one of the goods called Harman, Ericsson, this also they all over the big Samsung also they use such kind of the boards because these are very open source and standard boards. So they use the Raspberry Pi and Arduino, Node MCU, the kind of the boards to design the prototype. They first design the prototypes and then again they move on the when they move on the development part, they only work on the IC part. They don't use the other part. They work on the IC. So we use the same IC. Okay, but during the production part, we work only the IC part. We remove all our remaining things from here.
Okay, so basically we will use this to design even the small prototype to bigger prototype. We can use it for anything, na? I mean,
Yeah,
for
we
bigger
yes yes
prototype
yes
also
yes
we can. Okay,
yes
I
yes
want to
yes
just
we
know.
can be. Yeah,
Can
sure.
you
Yeah,
can
because
you yes sir.
yeah. Hello.
Yes, I wanted to know that to design this bigger, we can use this to design the bigger prototype. You want to say this now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Because all over the companies they are using the same board Raspberry Pi and Arduino to design the prototype because these are the very standard board. These are the very standard board and all over the companies they are using this particular board to design the prototypes and all. When they move on the production part, so what they do, Samsung will use their own boards. Other Harman will be used or other company will be use their own board. They don't use the Raspberry Pi. They will not use the Raspberry Pi and all. So because but to design the prototypes, to design the particular working model, that particular concept to prove the POC part. Like suppose that I have some concept. Now I want to just POC. I want to design its POC. So to design the POC also we use the same kind of the boards, standard boards. Okay, is it fine?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm
Okay.
perfectly fine with your answers. Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about the last part and the one as we discussed the MQTT protocol. So we discussed like normally we
Excuse
use
me,
the
sir.
yes.
Hello. Excuse me,
Yeah,
sir.
hello.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
So when it comes to using quadcopters and
Mm-hmm.
hello,
Yeah, hello.
yeah,
Yeah.
which one do you think is better, Arduino or Raspberry Pi when it comes to quadcopters and drone technology?
Arduino. Arduino Mega is fine there.
So why not Raspberry Pi?
Like again, in the Raspberry Pi, there's only the Raspberry Pi is not used for the as a controller part because in the Raspberry Pi there's only the digital input output pins. But again, like in our Arduino part, there's a analog, digital, PWM, different kinds of the pins is available. That's why.
Oh, so now when Amazon is now working with the air droners, so do you think they are using Arduino Mega as a board?
No. Arduino Mega is not only the one of the boards. There's the loss of the other microcontroller also. Okay. So whenever we are going to choose any microcontroller, because we have a AVR, 8 mil, different microcontrollers available in the market. Whenever we are going to choose a microcontroller, we generally check the what is the specification, what's the RAM and all of the parts we require, how many digital input output pins we require, how many PWM pins we require, which kind of the specification, and based on that we choose the board. It's not something we have only Arduino and the Raspberry Pi. We have the lots of the board, and based on the requirements, based on things, we generally choose the particular development board.
So if it comes to building a drone or quadcopter, then for a mini project we can use Arduino Mega.
Yeah, we can be use Arduino Mega for it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, anything else? Okay, so now let's talk about the one of the important and the okay. Now let's talk about the one of the important parts is MQTT protocols. Like as we discussed, nowadays to share the information through the internet. Like let me talk about the first thing, HTTP protocol. Whenever we enter the any URL into the web browser, like Facebook.com, LinkedIn.com, or any particular Google.com, it starts with the HTTP or HTTPS. So what is the HTTP? HTTP is the like application layer protocols, and through that we can be share the information of the data to other points. Like generally, the HTTP protocol work on the client and server basis. Whenever we are going to use any protocol, first we need to understand the architecture. So HTTP work on the client and server. Suppose that I'm here, like my laptop is connected to the internet, and there is some other server like LinkedIn server or the Google server is also connected to the internet. So what happened? From my laptop, I'm able to collect the data from that particular server, which is some other places. How? Using this particular protocol. What happened? I'm using the web browser. Web browser work as a client. Okay, either like Mozilla Firefox or the Internet Explorer or the Google Chrome, is work as a client. And whenever I just enter the any URL, it make a request to that particular server, which is some other places, but both are connected through the internet. If your laptop will not connect it to the internet, you will not get information. But if the laptop is connected, and whenever you enter any URL into the web browser, you are getting a lot of information from that server. How? Because first we make a request, first we make a TCP connection, and then after we send a particular request, and the server send a data in the form of the response. And for sending the request and the response, we have a different methods like get, post, put, delete. And in this way that we generally do that. But into the IoT form, into the IoT, one of the famous protocol is MQTT protocol, Massive Human Telemetry Transfer Protocol. For different machine to the machine communication, we are using these particular protocols. Like again, let me tell you about before to implementation, because now we are going to implement this particular part. But before that, we need to we need to understand the architecture. Suppose that I want to send the information to you, and you want to receive the information, or you want to receive some message of the data. So what happens? I'm not able to directly communicate with you. There will be some broker, and the using of the broker, I'm able to share some information to you. The first, I need to send a data, some particular data to the broker using some unique name. And if you know that particular unique name, then you have to first subscribe to the broker, and broker will be send a data to you. Like it's the publisher and subscriber architecture. Like HTTP is the request and response. This is a publish and subscribe basis. This protocol is designed by the IBM in 1999, but that time it was not open source. But now it's become the very famous into the IoT sector. For most of the industrial applications, they are using the MQTT protocol. And what about the broker? Broker is a third party. Broker is just used to receive the message from the publisher, means sender, and with the topic name, and also receive the subscription from the particular subscriber and transfer the particular data message to the particular corresponding subscriber part, like either the laptop or the machine. Suppose that I want to send some information to you. If I'm using the MQTT protocol, then first I have to publish my data using some unique name. Unique name could be anything to the broker. Okay, and then you want to receive the message, then first you have to subscribe to the broker. If you know using the same topic name, whatever the topic name or unique name I used to publish the data. Okay, then the broker will be sent to you. What happened? What is the benefit of it? In the HTTP, what happened? The server have a particular database. Google have a database, and whenever you want a data, you can request, and in the form of the response, you will get all over the data. But sometimes what happens in the Google, if you send something new, if you search something new, you will not get any kind of the data because server don't have that kind of information. But here we can send the live data messages like Facebook Messenger, also the based on this particular part, MQTT protocol. Now I'm going to implement this particular part, and there are also lots of the security features here also that will be talked. And please, meanwhile, just do one thing. Install one Android application in your mobile phone. That is the install one particular and Android application in your mobile phone. That is the MQTT client. You can search on the Android application MQTT client. Just install this particular part. And here in the particular chat box, I'm sending you one particular feedback form. Please do this particular send this your true feedback, and also send a particular your email ID and your name into the chat box. Okay. And meanwhile, please install a particular app. So I'm just sending you the name of that particular app through the chat box. That is the MQTT client. If you have the Android app mobile, then please install this particular Android application, MQTT client. And from here, I will be sent some message, and you will able to receive this all of the messages. And for that, I'm using a Python programming. Python as a programming language. You can use any one of that. For the iPhone, you will get but you need to search this particular part. The first Android user, please install this particular application. So it's done. Please let me know, all of you. Have installed the app? Okay. Now here you can see I'm sending us a message on all of you will able to receive the message. Please let me know if you install the particular Android application. There's an MQTT client. So is it done? Please let me know. Please give me the confirmation through the chat box. Is it done? Please let me know, all of you. Install. Okay, great. So here, okay. So just do one thing. Open that particular app. Open that app. You will get a right bottom side is a one plus kind of the sign. Please let me know if you're getting the right bottom side. There is a plus sign. Okay. Just click on that. Open the app. There's a right bottom side is a one plus kind of the sign. Just click on that. And the second option is nickname. Click on the nickname and give the any name like ABCD whatever. Click on the nickname and give the any name like ABCD and press or click on OK. Please do it. And first install the MQTT client app, and then there's a right bottom one plus kind of sign. Just click on the plus kind of the sign, and there's a second option is nickname. Click on the nickname and give the any name like ABCD whatever and click on OK. Is it done? Please give me the final confirmation through the chat box. Or you can unmute yourself also. Please, any one of you unmute yourself and let me know if is it done. It's done?
Done.
Any one of you, can you please unmute yourself and let me know, give me the final confirmation, is it done or not? Okay.
Done.
The second option is nickname, give the any name, then move down. There's just some, there's one option is host. Click on the host.
Yes.
Just write down iot.eclipse.org in the same form, in the small letter, without double inverted comma. iot.org in the host.
Hello, sir.
This one.
IoT.org.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Kindly repeat this once again.
Okay. First, open the app. There's a right bottom. There's a plus kind of a sign. Just click on that. Second option is nickname. Give the any name. Click on the nickname and give the any name and press OK. Then after, move down. There's another option is host. Write down iot.eclipse.org in the small letter without double inverted comma and press on OK. I hope it is done.
Eclipse.org. Done.
Yes. Yeah, here I'm sending you the spelling also like iot.eclipse.
Spell please.
Dot
Spell please.
iot.eclipse.org.
Done.
Done now? Then move down.
Yes.
There's another option is client ID. Move down. There's another option is a client ID. Give the any name like ABCD. Give the ABCD anything and press OK.
Done.
It's done. Move up. There's a first option is enabled.
Yes.
First option is enabled. Then move the slider. Move the slider. It's done.
Okay. Yes. Enabled.
Yeah, enabled.
Then.
Done. And then after, in the top, the right side of the ad broker, in the top, in the menu, the right side of the ad broker, there's a logo, save logo. Just click on that. It's done. In the menu, yeah, saved. You'll get some other window, right? Just click on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, you're getting options that's in the down, like subscribe to a topic. Are you getting the option subscribe to a topic? Just click on that. Like when you save it, you will get some new page. and just click on that.
Yeah, it's a notepad kind of page is opened.
Yes. There is some kind of the one port will be there. Like just click on that. Are you getting?
Connected to iot.eclipse.org.
At the bottom there is subscribe dot to us.
Yeah.
To talk. Yeah, it's kind of chat.
Yeah. You are getting an option like subscribe to a topic. Option.
Yeah.
Just write down 123/425. Like here you can see in my screen 123/425. Topic is 123/425. 123/425. Yeah.
425.
And click on the subscribe. And click on the subscribe.
No message received.
No message received. Okay, let me just run this program from my side. Now let me know if there are any messages.
Yeah, IoT training.
Right? You can see from here I'm sending the IoT training and message and you can receive that. So in this way there's a one application, but there's a lot of the feature into the MQTT protocol and that's security feature, cloud platforms. Yeah? No.
Do anything
like here there is a one basic example. No. There is one basic example. From here I'm sending a data and you'll able to receive the data. Same thing format. We can collect the loss of the data from the physical device and we can interconnect the different physical device and they're able to share the information through the network also. This was a one basic example. Like how we can use different protocols and use of the protocol.
That means what you are doing on your device, we are getting that message.
Yeah, I'm sending a message using the MQTT protocol and you are receiving the live data. Now, if I feed this technique with my physical device, then physical device will able to share the information and you will able to receive the information. Did you get the point? What I want the different physical device should be able to communicate. Like there's a 10 devices should be able to communicate. If I feed the same technique with my physical device, then they able to chat with each other.
Yes.
Right? So in this way that we can be implemented. This is only the one example, right?
Okay.
But there are lots of other protocols like AMQP, XMPP, co-op protocols that will be discussed during the training part. We'll also discuss AWS IoT, Azure IoT, different cloud platforms, security like security part. During the training part. And now we have also organizing our. Hello, I'm audible. Now we have other batches also like for the training like from Jan onwards, like 19 Jan, 17 Feb, weekend batches. This is a 40 hours training in which we will cover the development, security and analytics. We'll work on the Arduino or Raspberry Pi plus sensor, Azure IoT, AWS IoT, different protocols like HTTP, MQTT, co-op, AMQP protocols. We'll work on the different projects, industrial projects also. So let me know if you have any questions.
1 minute. Hello. If I do have knowledge of AWS IoT, can I be the part of my project?
Yes.
Then what will be the job from my side?
Like in the job factor in the IoT as a networking, as a cloud platform, you need to work on the particular architecture, like to connect the different physical devices to the particular AWS IoT platform and the data into the storage part, then store the data, move the data for the analytics part, this kind of job factor, like to work on the cloud architecture for the IoT part.
Okay.
In the IoT, there's a networking part also, there's a database also. Yeah.
So means database and networking part, everything is in AWS IoT. Okay.
Yes, right.
Okay, got it.
And one more important thing, please give your true feedback of this particular webinar. Please fill this particular feedback form. And if you have any question, any query, then you can send me mail at the sales@, this particular, I'm sending a particular mail ID. You can be sent the.
1 minute, sir. As you told,
yes.
to monitor the kitchen with the help of IoT, So if I want to if I want to define the IoT scenario in my side, means locally I want to get the project with the help of IoT device. What is the major devices that we need to use for that project? Like a fan, TV, LED. I want to monitor.
Yes, yes.
I want. I
Again,
want
you
the
require some hardware also because yes, yes, I'm understand. I'm getting your point. If you want to, if you're working with the hardware part, then you need to use some hardware also, like Raspberry Pi, or Arduino, or some sensors, some actuators, some wireless networking technology. You require this all over the part.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. With the help of these kind of device, we can do the project, no?
Yeah, even this kind of a process we also do in the training part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sir, sir, question about sir, sir that you teach us, sir. Sir, I want sir that note, sir. That if you you send this note to us, sir. And sir, second the question is that, sir.
Sure.
Sir, means sir. How do you know that your next conference about dates, information that we join, sir? We have a lot of troubles about new conferences that you teach us about knowledge, sir. If you can, sir, tell me about that, sir, I will thanks you, sir.
Yeah, sure that. For this particular part, please send your mail, and please here please send me your mail ID and email. You can also email us. I'm just send our email ID also. So if you have any query, you can send us mail. Okay. And regarding this particular part also, and if you want to join the training, or if you want to work on any new technologies, or any kind of the queries if you have, you can just send us mails. Our marketing and management teams will be contact to you.
Sandeep, I have a basic question. I'm coming from an industrial background like PLC, SCADA, RTU and all. My basic thing is like this IIoT is like all are in the cloud, right? The internet, it is all are the backbone is the internet, right? Whether the internet that connection is dropped, all will be like disaster, right?
Yeah. No, but actually what happened when we move in the implementation of the any manufacturing industry, we cannot depend on the one particular thing. There's a lot of the solution also. This is not only we just connected to the one network and then all over the part. Only we want a data. So we also put the storage into the inbuilt system also into through the network. We use some networking part. There's a lot of patterns between this particular part. We also put some alternate, like channels for this particular part to solve this kind of the issue.
Okay, if suppose I want to enter into this field, then it's like a networking knowledge is essential, or it's like it's not required in this?
No, you should have some basic knowledge of the networking, which obviously require.
Okay.
So what is the major skills for IoT?
Like you should have some. It's like IoT is not related to one field. If you have a sound knowledge either in embedded system or the networking part or the database or the cloud platform or the protocols, then you can move in this particular field. But you should have a little bit knowledge about to end part. But you can be more on you can work on some specific field like a database, like a security, like a networking, like a embedded systems, like a cloud platform, like that.
Mm-hmm.
My basic question is where this data, everything will be stored in the cloud, like any kind of like namespace.
Yeah, if you're using the Azure, if you're using Azure IoT, then you can be used because Azure IoT, AWS IoT provide Azure or AWS provide a lot of the services which is required to any normal IT company. So you through the AWS IoT you can collect this all over data. Then after you move this particular data into some storage into other services of the Azure or AWS. And you can be stored into the some either you can SQL, DynamoDB, different MongoDB, different kind of the storage, and that you can also use it. You can also store the data into the local system also. It depends on the application.
Okay, what are the job vacancies are there for industrial industrial IoT?
Nowadays, every industry is moving this particular part because they are more interested into the industry 4.0, the fourth revolution of the manufacturing industries, and there the IoT is very big role to design the smart factory. So in this all of this very big all of the market is still open. So in this particular for this particular specific.
Okay,
And
thanks
all of you, like, we
thanks
have
for
very
your
limited.
answer.
Okay. We have
Do you have any kind of
handling the
do you
mic.
have any kind of course about this IIoT, or you can suggest anything on
Yes,
this?
yes, we have. You can join us this particular training. Like, we have this particular training, and here we'll talk about this all over aspect like IIoT, IoT security, development, analytics, and we'll go with the practical, this all over part, hands-on part.
Okay, any difference is there between this IoT and IIoT? It's same, like it's more or less same, right? Hello, hello. Yeah, any difference between this IoT and IoT? Hello, hello, hello.
We'll send like, if you have any query, you can also send a mail, and please give your true feedback on this particular URL. Hello.
Where you are sending on
Hello.
mail?
Yes, yes. If you have any query, then please send us mail regarding to this particular part. And
Yeah.
here I'm sending you the mail ID. Then
And the notes also and materials.
yes, sure that we'll forward you all over the details. And you can just send us mail if you
Hello,
have
Ashish.
any query, any part.
Hello, hello.
Yes, I'm audible.
Yeah, Ashish,
Yes, hello.
Do you provide AWS IoT training?